Hey, welcome back to the Crypt of Horrors. We're here today with another pickup video. January has turned out to be better than I thought it would be for collecting some Blu-rays. So we found mostly new stuff, which is kind of a nice break. So usually when we collect Shout Factory, Arrow, the major labels, and we collect new releases of old titles. However, on this trip, it was almost all fairly recent stuff. So, first off, The Wolf of Snow Hollow. I got really lucky and got this for $5, so yeah. So I haven't watched it yet, but it's supposed to be a really good horror comedy, and I read a little bit about it in Fangoria, so I'm happy to have that. And then we have Hansel and Gretel, which came out last year, and I haven't gotten to see it yet, and I've had a couple opportunities to pick it up, but I wasn't really jazzed for it until I read another Fangoria article about it, and I was like, okay, now let's try and see this. So looking forward to that. This one was, I think I paid a little bit too much for it at $12, because I saw it offered for $5 at one point. And I should have jumped on it then, but I didn't, so that's my fault. And then, in new pickups, so we got this fresh from Best Buy. This is Relic, which a lot of people have been excited about. I don't know if it's on Shudder. I'm looking at the back to see if it is. But, this is actually a Shout Factory release. That's interesting. But this got a lot of buzz as one of the best movies of 2020. So I'll finally get to check this out at some point pretty soon. And then we do have a couple of older titles. Well, before we get to them, let's go with... Now, this isn't horror, but it's an anime series I really enjoy. So this is Lupon III, the First. So this is that new CGI Lupin movie that came out, well, basically just last week. So I did get time to sit down and watch this, and it was great. It has a couple hours worth of extras on it, which is really nice. There was a really fun interview with the cast where they all just kind of sat around and chatted about the movie, and that was really enjoyable. And I got the Steelbook from Shout. So it comes in a standard and a Steelbook. So the exclusive to the Steelbook was a little booklet of character designs, which that was interesting. So this was pretty great. You know, if you're into anime at all, or if you're like me and really not that into anime, give it a watch. And now for the older movies that we picked up. So we found The Wicker Tree, which I've been kind of putting off buying for a while. So this is sort of a spiritual successor to The Wicker Man, I think done by the same guy. And while it's nowhere near as good as The Wicker Man, it still has some merits. So mostly I just wanted it to complement The Wicker Man on my shelf, and it was only $5, so it was like, oh, okay, fine. And then we have a sequel to a movie I haven't seen, Toolbox Murders 2, which this was a Shout Factory title, and I just happened to find it really cheap, so I picked it up. $6 is pretty good for this. I have no idea what to expect. I haven't seen the first Toolbox Murders, but hopefully it does the first one some justice. A little bit of background on the next two pickups. I really like Dan O'Bannon, as a writer. So Dan O'Bannon wrote Alien, he wrote Return of the Living Dead, and he wrote a bunch of other really good stuff. So I'm a big fan of Dan O'Bannon movies, and there were a couple of them that I did not have. So, the first of which is Total Recall, the immensely popular mega hit, which I've somehow never seen. And as soon as I found out it was written by Dan O'Bannon, I went to Target and I found the Steelbook. So this actually has a good amount of extras to it as well. We've got interviews with Paul Verhoeven, making of, special effects documentary, Imagining Total Recall documentary, commentary with Schwarzenegger. That's going to be interesting. So yeah, and all for $13. So pretty excited about that. And then definitely the most expensive thing that we did not get all that great a deal on. Tobe Hooper's Invaders from Mars, also written by Dan O'Bannon, with design work by his friend Will Stout, who comes onto this release to talk about one of the photo galleries, which I really enjoyed that extra. So I like Will Stout. Will Stout's pretty cool. So this was really nice to get a hold of. So this Invaders from Mars is out of print. I think it was one of the first out of print Shout Factory titles, and the price has exploded on it. So if you see it for less than $70 and you don't have it, get it, because I had to pay quite a bit for this, but I was able to mitigate it through trades from some of my extras. But still, very expensive, but really happy I got a hold of it. And this had great extras too. So I just finished watching it. It had a commentary, it had like a documentary, and that Will Stout gallery, like I said. So, well, that's what we found for the first part of January 2021. So we got some really nice updates to the collection in that trip, and hopefully we'll have a few more on the way. So thank you for hanging out. Like, share, and subscribe. And feel free to tell me how I did in the comments below.